Yeah, but where's my? Okay, if I remember correctly, I don't think it even shows up, right? All right, wing is sweated. And let's get back to it. All right, today is December the 18th, 2025, and we still working on getting this trading strategy down packed and finalized. Like I said, it's still going to take a few days, maybe a few weeks before I'm truly confident in it, right? Because I need to get the data. The data is number one. So, what am I looking at? Too? Shoot. All right. Let me extend the screen. Oh, yeah, I know what I gotta do. Okay. All right. So when I first come to the charts in the morning, I look at the, let's take a look at the daily first. Where am I at? All right. So on the daily, it's looking as if price is rebounding from, let me draw a level real quick. We'll make this purple. So from this area here, I don't know how good y'all can see it. On the daily, right? This purple level right here, it was touched before. If you look to the left, one time, two times, and then third time was yesterday. All right, so that's gonna be my first level. I got some other pre-drawn levels here, but I'm going to take those off and then redraw those in a second once I have some clarity, and I go down to the 1 hour. So this is the only one so far that I'm looking at is this purple line right here. All right, so that's my daily level. It stood out to me. All right. So now I just switched and went down to the 1 hour time frame, and I'm going to see if anything else catches my attention, which it definitely does. I'll make that orange. No, I don't like that color. Darker orange. All right. So that way I know which is which. The purple is for my daily, the orange is for my hourly, and I use the blue for the 5 minute. Yeah, I do like that. And we're gonna make that. Okay, that's the hourly. Cool, cool. And that too. Mm. So before I get started, the market opens up at 3 o'clock for the London session. And okay, yeah, there we go. I like that. And it looks like a 5 minute there. And now I place another one here. All right. And then sometimes, even though I drew levels already on the hourly, I come down to the 5 minutes and I might adjust some. We'll see. All right, move this down so I can see over here. And let me expand my screen. All right. So I'm focused on pullbacks, right? Over to my right, it's not a 15-second today, it's a 30-second. And I'm still deciding on how I'm going to trade and what time frame I'm going to enter on. So just trying a few things until I find what's the right time frame for me. So that was more like a pullback. So a lot of times I might condense my charts so that I can see the bigger picture, right? Price is down, now it's up. I don't have a lot of clarity at the moment. I don't. All right, so I'll make my screen bigger a lot of times so that I can have more real estate and I can look at my 5 minute because my 5 minute is a king to me. That's the most important time frame for the way that I'm trading. And it just helps give me a better perspective because on the hourly, right? Let me go. I gotta go back. On the hourly prices in the downtrend, right? Overall, because it's still underneath the 20 EMA. I'm sorry, the 200 EMA, which is my purple. This purple line here, right? This purple line, yeah, this purple line right here. This is my 200 EMA. And price did reject from this support level. So I'm looking for price probably to go back up. No, it's not necessarily, it might not necessarily go all the way up to the 200 EMA, right? But I am looking for, if it goes up, I'm gonna draw a level right here too. Yeah, most definitely. Price might not even go this high today, but let's go for it. I doubt it goes that high, but That's definitely a significant level I'm looking at. It might not be reached today, but so looking at price today, it's currently possibly a pullback, or it could be reversing, right, from this rejection here of this purple line, all right, this purple support line at the bottom. You can see it went up, came back and touched what is my yellow line, which is my 20 EMA. It broke through it, came up, found support there, went back up, came back down, broke below it a teeny bit, but then stayed around that 20 EMA, found support, went back up again, and came back down. So now I'm looking at an area of support, right? Well, this 20 EMA is located. I might need to make that more yellow. And at the same place where this orange level is, right? So it found support close to the 20 EMA and also at this orange level. Around about the same area, not the exact same area. They don't have to be, but they're close. It's more of a zone, right? It's not necessarily an exact price level. So it has some give to it. So these two, this orange support here and this resistance right above price, where price also found resistance and it rejected from, right? So if you can see, price is pretty much sandwiched in between these two orange levels right here. It's not, it's giving me some good price action, don't get me wrong. It's not consolidating because I don't deal with consolidations. I try my best not to trade within consolidations or right after a breakout, unless it was like a halt. If it was, if it was, if it was trending initially and then it halted briefly in small consolidation area, I might draw like a block around that, and then it might break out of that. I might be looking for that trade, but it's more like a continuation trade. It just took a pause, and it just happened. Instead of a pullback, it was a pause, and it stayed situated in a consolidated price. It gave it a chance to breathe before it started to continue its run, either up or down. So let's go to 5 minute. Yeah, I don't have a lot of clarity at the moment, right? So I'm not gonna make a move or look for a. I want that. Right, there we go. And a lot of times too, what you can do is you can, instead of just trying to keep everything inside of your mind, you just write it down on a piece of paper. Like if I'm looking at the daily initially, and I say, okay, I might write down the price is it's underneath the 200, starting to trend back up from a reversal, right? And then I might jot that down. Then on the hourly, it's below the 200 going back up. So therefore, I don't have to keep switching between my charts, and I can just have it on paper, put it on paper. So, mm, mm, mm. Oh yeah, it's rejected. Don't worry about that. We'll go back to this 5 minute. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Oh yeah, I missed my trade yesterday, man. I didn't even trade yesterday. So, like I mentioned before, my goal is to be in front of the market every single day. But yesterday, I didn't go to bed till late, and so I think I might probably would have got like 4 hours, and I worked late yesterday too. So by the time I got home, I had to do some things, had to run some errands, and by the time I went to bed, it was too late. Right, so I can't operate for the next day with just 4 hours on just 4 hours of sleep. So I stayed in the bed, got some rest, went to bed early last night though, so I can wake up and make sure I'm on point for my trading session this morning. So mm, mm, mm. But nothing is really standing out either though. Mm-mm. Not at all. So that would have been a pause. Let's see, that's one straight down. I don't. What is this? Let me see. Oh yeah, that was a breakout. I wouldn't have took that. That was a good trade though. Could have been a good trade. So Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, that would have been good. Hard there. Really around the EMAs too, so I had to take a look at that. I'll tell you what I want to do though. Okay, so that'll be a pullback then. Yeah, that's there. Yeah, let's see. All right. I'm gonna draw here. I'm gonna make that blue. And we can draw another level. All right, so I use the volume, fixed volume profile, right? And there's a thing called the there's a volume area low, volume area high, and also a POs. Ah, oh yeah, the volume point of control, the POC. So this second blue line right here, or this one right here, the bottom blue line is right at the point of control on the fixed volume profile, right? So I use that also because I seen to the left in this particular area was a consolidation area. And this is on the 5-minute chart. So a lot of times I will use that as some kind of level. I find that it does make a difference at times. Doesn't mean I'm going to keep it there. I'm just trying to get an idea because price did stop here and I mean, it rejected slightly on the 5-minute chart. So, but I don't like to make my charts too messy either. So, like a lot of times I might put levels on here and then I might just hide the levels so that I can only see my EMAs and also just the price action of the candles. And you can do that by all these daggone lines. Uh, And the goal too is not to force a trade just because you're bored. You wait for your setup and that's it. Mm. So there's a feature on TradingView. I love TradingView as a platform. So I'm not erasing my levels. I'm just temporarily hiding my levels. Close that. I will tell you though, it does seem as if, all right, so price on the daily, price is rejecting off of a support level, starting to go back up, right? On the hourly, it has done the same thing. And so now we're on the 5 minute. So if price is going back up, even though on the hourly and on the daily, price is below the 200 EMA, it's trending back towards its 200 EMA. And like I mentioned before in my other previous video, that price and the EMA would extend from each other, but they will meet again or at least come back close to each other. Right? The further they get away, I don't want to say the sooner they will return back to each other. But either way, if they're away from each other, they will come back to each other, right? So I'm looking at this level here, being that price is coming back up, right? And price came back. Price is always still trending up for real. I'm looking at this area as a pullback, possibly. Because right here, even though it didn't pull back to any of my EMAs on my 5 minute, well, in this particular area it didn't, right? But it did pretty much put in like a double bottom on a 5 minute time frame. Yeah. Now let me just, still not going to rush a trade. I want to make sure that I see things very clearly, right? But that's information that I have to take into account because, all right, so if I have this level here, which was already drawn one time, all right, price interacted to the left here previously. It was resistance, broke up, came back, and it's acting as support. for the most part. But it seems like it's pulling back up also to the 200 EMA. So it might just be hovering around this particular area before it starts continue up. I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of clarity right now, so I'm going to take my time with the trade. So if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. It doesn't. You don't need a murky idea of what's going on. You need clarity, right? So because a lot of times you say, I think I see a trade, as opposed to, oh, that's the trade right there. Yep, there it is, off the bat. So I'm looking for those trades, and ideally within. I came to the market this morning about 245, 248, something like that. But from 3 to 5 within 2 hours, I probably can get 2, maybe 3 trades. But it seems to be the average 2 good setups, right? Maybe 1 if it really starts to trend a lot. And I just take that. I'll take that. I'll take that 1 trade. I mean, shit, I ain't got no chance. I got to take what the market gives me. I can't impose my will on the market. All right, so I bought. Still figuring some things out, right? So y'all bear with me. That really wasn't a clear trade. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint of this 5 minute here. All right, put in the double bottom, and price was already rejecting from a previous rejection on the hourly going up. And so a lot of times I look for price to break before I enter from a rejection on the 5 minute, and it shows on the 30 second. When it breaks back above the 200 EMA on the 5 minute, on the 30 second, on the smaller time frame, it could be 15 seconds too. And I look for a buy going up, right? Showing momentum. But it still really wasn't that clear, man. So I guess I just went against my own rule. But that's the psychology of trading too. Because it's starting to consolidate. That really wasn't that clear. You know, if I was going to get in, yeah, I guess that's kind of like playing a rejection. Yeah. That wasn't a good entry too. That wasn't a good entry, man. That's psychology of trading. Because I was just speaking on the fact that if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. But in my head, I'm always battling the fact that I have a small amount of time for me to place my trades, right? Until I replace my 9 to 5 with trading. So that does weigh on me in my decision making. But I'm fighting that process. So I'm gonna have to jot that down and then really work on that over the next few weeks. Put that into my online trading journal too, so that I can eliminate that. That's not a good habit to have. So I'm gonna have to break that. I'm gonna write that down. So I'm gonna write that down right now. Yeah, yeah. All right. Took me out, right? Okay. All right. So I still put it here. I wrote down, and then I transfer this over to my online trading journal later on. Eliminate fear of missing out on trades within 2 hour trading window. So I'm gonna have to work on that and fix that. That wasn't a good entry. Oh, a good trade, bro. Started to consolidate too. I'm tripping. Mm. Yeah. Whatever. I'm tripping. Then also learning not to beat yourself up. Learn from your past mistakes, but don't dwell in that. Don't dwell in the last trade. The last trade is just simply a trade. I realize keep your eyes focused on trades moving forward. Just learn from your last mistake, how to improve, and keep moving, man. Because if you take another, could be 5 trades, right? 3 trades probably. You're gonna forget about the trade that you were dwelling on, unless you lost a lot of money. And I don't do that. I have my stop loss in place. I don't play about losing no capital. All right, so what I'm really, really waiting on. All right, so price is starting to consolidate right here. When the market opens up around about 3 o'clock for London, a lot of times uh, more volume comes into the market. Excuse me, still waking up. More volume comes into the market, and so it reflects in the price action. Bigger candles, more volatility. So I look for price to start trending. It doesn't have to be a major trend, and then I'm looking for a pullback. I don't care if it's trending upward or if it's trending downward. I look for the pullback, and I like to enter on the pullback. However, I didn't do that this morning. Um, Until I get back in the flow and fully engulf myself in my trading strategy and system. I know I'm gonna have a probably some small mishaps before I really get into the flow and figure everything out right. And psychology is a major point once you get your system, but you got to have an edge first before you even. I guess you can. No, I guess you can learn focus on both of them at the same time. But yeah, that's what I do. You know, But listening to other successful traders, psychology is highly important. However, you still got to have a strategy. It doesn't have to be anything um, complex. They keep saying that simplicity is best, but you still have to have something that gives you an edge in the market. You know, and if you have that, then your focus is your psychology. Yeah, that might be a pullback. I was thinking that too, but nah. Now I will say I haven't had a chance to get into the books that I showed you guys the other day, and two of those books were on price action, and one was on psychology. Right, my days are super busy. When I get off, I don't have long before I go to bed. I go to bed early so I can get up early. Then on the weekends, I'm busy, and sometimes I work on the weekends too. Like this weekend, I'm supposed to be working, filling in for somebody. So, but looking at price action on the on the 32nd, right? This big red bar at the bottom. And if you look right above it, right above this big red volume bar was the price bar. Now you would think that since the bar was so high, that much volume, that the volume bar was so high, right? That the price bar will be a lot larger. However, it didn't. So from what I'm studying is that in VPA, by Ann Cooling volume price analysis, is that price action should reflect what the volume is doing. And if it's not in harmony with each other, right? If there's a bigger volume bar and the price bar doesn't line up with that, then pretty much just like Star Wars, there's a disturbance in the force, man. Like something ain't right. You don't know what it is exactly, but they also most likely they're battling it out, the buyers and sellers, and seeing who's more aggressive. And I'm learning this too with aggressive buyers, aggressive sellers, and then you have passive buyers and passive sellers. You don't have more buyers than sellers, right? From what I'm learning is that that is a fallacy. You hear traders speak about it. Oh, there's more buyers than sellers right here, so that's why. No, because a contract, for a contract to exist, there must be a buyer, or to be completed, there must be a buyer and a seller. You can have a buyer and he can put it out there, and that's a passive order. Like, okay, I'm willing to buy so and so a contract, certain amount of barrels. I forget how many barrels a contract consists of crude oil, but let's just say buy this many barrels at $56. Right, so he just put it out there. However, it's not going to be completed until a seller comes in and say, okay, well, I got some barrels. I'll sell them to you at $56. If not, he just have a passive order out there waiting for somebody to come in and say, okay, I'll sell it to you. And then there's a completion of the contract, and then there's a value. It's one volume contract. A contract shows, I guess, one unit of volume. And it seemed like they're battling it out right here. And I was looking to see if they break it because it looked like it pulled back up here. This will be a pullback in this particular area. And then they break below here. That's a trade I normally would take before. So I'm, still figuring it out, right? But you're only going to get a really clear understanding of your strategy, man, and the way that you trade over time. And so as a new trader, man, don't rush it. Just be consistent. That's what I'm learning too. And also, eventually, price has to go somewhere. So if it's consolidating, if it doesn't want to go lower, if you keep saying it doesn't want to go lower, it doesn't mean it won't break. But there's a good chance that maybe it wants to go higher. But you look at the price bars and see how price is moving and stuff like that, and you'll get a better idea. You're not going to be right all the time, not at all. But you still get a better idea, and you'll feel a little bit more confident that you have an idea of what you're doing. Doesn't mean you're going to be right just because you know the market is random, right? So, but it doesn't. It's not breaking this particular level right here, though. I know that much. This bad boy must be strong, man. I don't know. But I will say this, right? So this is what I'm looking for, too. So let's say I'm gonna use this ray. I'm gonna put a ray here, and I'm gonna put another one roughly here, right? I'm gonna make it. Come on, man. All right. I'm gonna make this blue, and this one too, man. All right. So these two lines I just drew above price, but I look above price and also below price, right? So let's say eventually price is going to break out of this range that it's currently in. It's consolidating. It's either going to break to the upside or the downside. What I look for is price to pull back. Right? So let's say it breaks out to the upside. I might look for, what I do look for is, or maybe even there too. So let's see. All right, so 4 blue lines on the screen now. So if price breaks to the upside, I look for it to go up, go up, go up. I'm going to use this purple line to indicate price, right? So let's say price goes up. I look for it eventually to either pull back here, right? Because I see a level there where price interacted. Even better, if it draws back to that blue line and one of the EMAs is also there, most likely the 20 EMA. Or it might pull back to this top one and vice versa for to the downside, right? Either one of these. That's what I'm looking at. And that gives me a stronger confirmation because then I have, especially if it pulls back to the EMA at this around about the same area that it pretty much touches one of these blue levels. So that's what I'm looking for. That is my trade for real, for real. Anything other than that, I'm not being patient, and I'm trying to master more. I'm trying to get experience with more than one entry, right? And I don't want to do that. I want to focus, master one entry strategy. Ideally, I would like to do it on one time frame, right? So I'm still not sure if I'm going to use the 30. I like the 30-second though, but I would much rather just do it off the 5 minute. So I'm not sure, but only one instrument, and that's crude oil. One entry method, one instrument, and ideally, right now I'm on two. Ideally, to enter on the 5 minute. I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see. Regardless of what I want, I have to use what works the best. So, oh yeah, I'm tripping. So I'm still figuring that part out. That's gonna take a little time because I feel like if you just use the 5 minute, being that I don't have that much time in the morning to get a trade, that it doesn't allow for me to see an entry quick enough, I guess. Or because if I enter on the five on the 30-second, 5 tick stop loss seems to be pretty decent. On the 5 minute, I'm sorry, on the 30-second time frame, 5 tick stop loss seems to be pretty decent. On the 5 minute, maybe 6 seconds. That's what I was looking at initially. Of course, it all depends though, because sometimes price be moving, man. But a lot of times, 6 seems to be okay, and that's going to vary, and I might have to find a better method for that. But for the price bars, a lot of times it seems 6 might put me right above or below the entry or the open of that bar. And that's what I'm looking for. That's why I like to put my stop loss. It's kind of tight, but as of right now, until I get more data, that's the best. That's the best I have. So that's what I'm going to go with. But it feels much better, honestly, right? And that's only one tick difference between a 6 tick stop loss and a five tick stop loss. I don't know, man. I'm not exactly sure, but I like to really just one time frame. I enter and exit one time frame instead of two. I have one chart up for the most part. After I go through my daily and look at my hourly, draw my levels, then I have the 5 minute. That's what I like better than having two charts on here with a smaller time frame, like a 30-second, which I like it. It ain't bad, but because I feel like I see more opportunities on the 30-second, but they don't feel like I don't feel like they hold that much significance. You know what I mean? Yeah, so price seems like it's trying to break now. Interesting. Yeah, see, that's not. That's not my trade though. Not my trade. Another entry I was looking at before, right, is my pullbacks, and also, but this is kind of like a pullback. This is a pullback, and then the pullback breaks that. So I probably should have took that, but it's too far extended now, though. All right, because that is a pullback, and then it breaks the support. That's all right. I think I missed that one. That's all right. That's all right. But see, if I just use a 5 minute, then I won't see that too. You know, so a 30 second I might have to rock with the 30 second because I wouldn't have saw this break. And you can see when it breaks, but it's come on. I'm not sure yet. I will be sure in the very near future though. So, yeah, I guess it's more like mm, 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 mm. Hmm. I look at this month too. Not so worried about. Yeah, I would like to pass my evaluation this month. However, I'm not focused on necessarily passing my evaluation. What I'm focused on, really, for real, is getting more data so that I can really critique my strategy. Because I realized, especially when I first started with trading with Iron Mail years ago, when I was introduced, a lot of times you would take somebody else's strategy and then that's your strategy, but you don't know it yet because you haven't had the data, you haven't put into practice. So you really don't know your strategy, bro. You're just taking somebody else's and just flying with it as opposed to because you want to make money so bad. And I realized that's a handicap as opposed to you should be focused on just being a better trader, putting the odds in your favor and going from there. So I'm gonna have to adjust some things to this month. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Mm-mm-mm. I guess I gotta defeat the whole purpose moment. So I'm in a discovery phase this month and next month. I feel because I don't want to. I do definitely need more opportunities, right, to trade, to get in, take some good setups, and then get out the market. But I don't have enough experience yet, repetition or data, to see if my hypotheses are correct. Right, we'll see. It's not always the case though either. So figure that out. All right, so like I said, I'm in a discovery phase. I want to see something, and I'm willing to put my money on it too, right? Because it doesn't hold the same significance if no skin is in the game. So looking at this resistance level here and making its way back up to the 200 EMA. That's what I'm trying to see. Because I brought it down here. So now there is a level that's definitely standing out here at the bottom. That's where you can see, well, the sell line is here, and that's my stop loss. But I might go back down and lose again. That's okay. Now, ideally, and then price is going down too. You can set, I look at the purple EMA on the 32nd. It's moving down. But, the trend is your friend, right? So the trend is to the downside. Ideally, you like to be trading that way. And I think, like I jot down notes afterwards into my notebook so that I can see which, hopefully enhance my strategy, right? I'm not probably big on reversals. I think I'm going to stay away from reversals and pretty much go with the trend. But not just off of this trade, no, not just off of one trade. You need way more trades to make that decision first. But we ain't tripping. Man. And every trader I hear, successful trader, talk about it. Yo, you're gonna, even if you start doing good initially, you don't even want that because it's only based on luck. What else can it be based on? It can only be based on luck because you don't have any experience. Right? You haven't learned the skill set. So whatever win that you accumulate initially is all luck because it's not based on experience. It's not based on skill. You haven't cultivated that. You haven't cultivated that over time. So it's okay to lose initially because you're going to find your rhythm. But I will say with prop firms, it's a lot easier to lose, man, than using your own hard-earned capital. But if we go back to break even, I'm probably, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. But I try to approach the market like a scientist, right? A researcher. Getting data, going back over it, looking at it, seeing what I missed, looking at the bigger picture, then going in more detailed fashion, crossing out what seems to be complicated, trying to keep it simple, and seeing what things seem to work overall, right, the most consistently, and go from there. And also being a scientist and researcher, take time, man, before you get some proof. So. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Yeah, that's mm-mm-mm. But also too, because on the 1 hour time, price was rejecting, and on the daily from a lower price, from a lower resistance level. Support level, and trying to make its way back up. It seemed like so. That's all you got to go off of. You never know truly. Price seemed like it was. Try to go back up. I don't know what it's doing now. It's just taking its time. And I closed that trade. I ain't like the way it was looking. And then you close it. That's when it take off in the same direction that you were hoping it would. But we don't deal with hopium over here, right? Getting high off hopium, not opium, but hopium. So, 'cause like I said, I pull back here, and that's what it looks like it's doing. It's pulling back right here to this orange resistance level, and also to the EMA. And on the 5 minute, right? So on the 5 minute, this might be it's pulling back, but, and this is what I look for ideally in this particular area. Like, look at it, like it's right here at the level, and then you have the 20 EMA, which is this dotted line, which I wanna see if I can make that. Maybe I'll make it. Maybe I just leave it alone. How about that? Yeah, keep messing with shit. Hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, take it down to there. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Oh yeah, okay. It's trying to take me back out. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. So you don't want to go down, huh? Yeah, you need to. Try my best too to learn how to take. Probably can't take all the emotion out of your trading, but not to be so emotionally influenced by win or loss. Just keep being consistent. You know? I mean, just keep being consistent with your trading strategy, right? And it should work out over time. So, oh, this one about to take me out. But I was hoping for another win though. But I guess it's more. I ain't worried about it. Let me just focus on getting the data too, and getting the reps in, and working between the one or two, three things that I'm just I'm using to make the decision when to trade. I mean, when to get in, and then I figure out which one works the best for me too. So I got some journaling to do for sure after this trade. I mean, every single day really, but I also got to do some back testing too, and go look over some past data on some things. Then getting used to sitting in a trade. I don't like being in a trade that long, but just because I don't like it, you know, I can't impose my will on the market. So that's the thing about using higher time frames to trade. So you're gonna sit in the trade longer. We're still figuring some things out. This is the discovery phase over the next 30 to 60 days anyway. I'm just gonna keep posting here on YouTube. Y'all can go back and look at it. It might help you guys. Then you can go back and see the journey or when things might have switched for me from being unprofitable and consistent to being consistently profitable. So I was hoping for it to break even, right? or to go down to like give me maybe like a positive 10 and I will get out the trade. I don't like the way the trade is moving, so it might not give me that though. Probably waited too long too. But if it does, then I'm going to get out. I don't think it's going to give it to me though. If it pushes back down, if it break even or like a positive 10, I would love to take it out and cut the trade short, but I don't know. It seems as if it's building, as if price is building a base to return back higher. Like I said, I'm gonna get out at break even. Now, normally I would have said that, and then I would have sat in and waited, like, oh, it's going back down, and it might go back down. It might shoot back down, or it might go back against me, then take me out. So, doing what you said you were going to do, even sometimes, if you doing what you said you were going to do means a lot. I realize in trading, because a lot of times a person, they losing money. Like, oh man, if it just go back break even, man, I'm getting out. And then it goes to break even, and they're like, no, I should stay in, make some profit, and then they get burnt. So yeah, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it for the day, man. I don't know. I think I probably might have broke even. I don't know. Maybe a small loss today or something like that. But then volume seems like volume want to start kicking around now. There wasn't a whole lot of volume earlier in the trading session, but I'm looking at a level that it's putting in too, because if you look at it 5 minute around about this area, you see the price rejected previously to the left right here. Let me show y'all. Make this shot. All right. So this is a previous price rejection, this particular area, right? And this is where we at now. And you see that price is starting to wick. So it could be putting in another, it could be putting in another bottom and building a foundation here before it starts to go back to the upside. Hmm. Oh yeah, that's it. I'm gonna end my trading session right here, and it's 4:33, and so for the next 30 minutes, I'm just gonna go back and look at some data and start jotting some things down that caught my attention, looking at some ideas that I might have and see if it's valuable or not. Yeah, I'm gonna end it right here. I'll see y'all tomorrow.